Hey, I'm Jamie East, and today's episode of The Smart 7 is sponsored by Vodafone Business in partnership with Samsung. If you're running a business, any kind of business, you're probably spending some time thinking about AI, what to do, how much to use it, and how to even get started. The answer could be in your pocket. The new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, powered by Vodafone Business's reliable, award-winning network, will help you unleash your productivity through brilliant built-in Galaxy AI. For example, Note Assist will automatically correct, fix the spelling, formatting and organise your meeting notes so you can stay tuned into the session without any worry. And AI continues to make headlines. This week sees the government set to roll out a new AI-powered tool called Consult, which experts estimate could save £20 million a year and free up 75,000 hours of civil service time. So of course, they're calling it Humphrey. Huh? Getting back to the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, to take advantage of all the features and change the way you do business, you'll need a Samsung account and a network connection. To find out more, search Vodafone Business Samsung, and for network verification, go to vodafone.co.uk/network. 7 things you don't really need to know, but probably should. I'm Jamie East, and this is the Sunday 7. I'm Jamie East, and on today's episode of the award-winning Sunday 7, we hear about Google's new AI innovations, we celebrate World Bee Day, and find out why Wales is full of glittery poo. Plus, Will Guyatt, the Smart 7's resident tech guru, has the latest on what Apple guru Jonny Ives is up to and how to fake your fitness. If you're enjoying our episodes, please do like and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. We're here 7 days a week at 7 a.m. with the 7 biggest stories on the Smart 7 in association with Metro. Before we get started, though, it was on this day in 1940 that there was significant breakthrough in the world of antibiotics. 3 Oxford scientists conducted an experiment on 8 mice, injecting them with a lethal dose of streptococcal bacteria and then treating just 4 of them with penicillin. The 4 mice who received the penicillin survived, and that saw the beginning of an antibiotic revolution. 7. There was a warning this week that artificial intelligence systems could soon account for over half of all data centre power usage, and the International Energy Agency says by the end of the decade, AI generation could consume as much power as Japan does today. That hasn't stopped big tech rushing into it, however, with all of the major players fighting to get a slice of the tech pie. Google made some significant announcements this week and rolled out some serious upgrades for its Gemini AI system. It all took place at Google's I/O Developers Conference in Mountain View, with the search giant announcing that it's introducing a new AI mode for its search engine. They're working on developing what's known as AGI, that's Artificial General Intelligence, or an AI that can understand a wide range of tasks and not just specific ones. Original Google founder Sergey Brin came out of retirement in 2023 and returned to the company in part to help drive the AI project, as he explained on Tuesday.
Honestly, anybody who's a computer scientist should not be retired right now, should be working on AI. That's what I would just say. I mean, there's just never been a greater problem and opportunity, a greater cusp of technology. I wouldn't say it's because of the race, although we fully intend that Gemini will be the very first AGI, clarify that. But to be immersed in this incredible technological revolution.
One of the new innovations is something that may transform the way we work on video calls, introducing AI-powered simultaneous live translation in Google Meets. Google CEO Sundar Pichai explained how it'll work.
We are even closer to having a natural and free-flowing conversation across languages. And today, we are introducing this real-time speech translation directly in Google Meet. English and Spanish translation is now available for subscribers, with more languages rolling out in the next few weeks.
When AI-generated video first appeared, one of the tests people used to see how good the tech was to ask it to generate a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. Now, I don't know why, that's just how the internet works. With Google's new AI video upgrade, they've introduced Flow, which can generate video with audio from text prompts, and it looks dramatically improved. The weirdest part is that when you ask it for Will Smith eating spaghetti, whilst the images are dramatically improved, it's gone for a crunching noise, which is quite frankly disturbing. Sundar says with the new raft of tools and upgrades, the potential is immense.
The opportunity with AI is truly as big as it gets, and it'll be up to this wave of developers, technology builders, to make sure its benefits reach as many people as possible.
6. Now, I know we talk about AI quite a lot on the Sunday 7, which I suppose isn't totally surprising when it's sneaking into nearly every aspect of modern life. Oh, and because we're a science and tech podcast. But this week has seen a dizzying array of new AI stories. We heard about Google's plan just now, but there's more, much more to discuss. And when it comes to AI, we depend on our own trustworthy chat, Guyatt. Yes, that's right, it's Smart 7's tech guru, Will Guyatt. So, Will, if we can zip back to 2021 for a minute, according to Mark Zuckerberg, by now we should all be living in the metaverse, and we can see how that's gone. Is there any danger that AI is basically the latest tech fad that'll soon pass?
No, I think AI is here to stay because whilst there might be many concerns about it and loads of false starts and wreckage to come, it's really different to the metaverse because AI isn't all about wearing a VR headset that makes you want to vomit your meal deal into the nearest bin or a legless Nick Clegg playing tennis with his neighbour Mark Zuckerberg. This week there's been loads of huge AI announcements from Google and OpenAI, and confusingly they were both called I.O.
We'll come back to Google in a second, but for us Apple fanboys, hello there, there was a dramatic story this week involving legendary designer Sir Jonny Ives. What's going on?
Like the best moments in the WWE, this one from OpenAI literally came out of nowhere midweek as OpenAI posted a 9-minute long video that saw its CEO Sam Altman meeting up for coffee in San Francisco with the legendary Apple design guru Sir Jonny Ives to talk products and design. They hugged, act like great mates, and talked about the vision ahead for a new range of AI-fueled projects that Jonny and Sam are teaming up to make, with OpenAI buying the Jonny-helmed startup for a cool $6.5 billion.
$6.5 billion for a startup, that sounds pretty healthy. But what are Jonny and his little elves going to be making?
Yeah, it's an incredibly good return for a business that didn't make or launch any products, but so far it's been confirmed that I.O. will be making a suite of devices that tap into the power of OpenAI. So far, one is rumoured to essentially be like a badge you pin to your jacket. It's going to analyse what's going on with a camera and respond to your voice. So far, OpenAI have been clear in saying they won't make a smartphone, with Jonny saying their devices will be new and for everybody. In the last 12 months, we've seen 2 devices from AI startups fail completely. That's the rabbit and the AI pin, who essentially both turned up dead on arrival, but neither of them had OpenAI's resources or the clout of Jonny Ives to create it.
How have Apple let this pass them by? That's a massive miss for them, right?
When Jonny Ive left Apple in 2019 after almost 3 decades, the company made great play that he was still going to be working with them on designing products. 6 years later, his input on new launches appears to have been absolutely zero. Loads of industry watchers reckon Apple has really fumbled the launch of its own AI products, and this will be enough for some to predict another slump for Apple. But I think that's putting far too much faith in the idea we all want to dump our smartphones for some kind of AI-related product we don't even know exists yet.
Now, as we've been hearing throughout this episode, Google have got a massive lean into AI at the moment, and they're talking about what sounds suspiciously like a reboot of Google Glass. Are glass holes back?
Well, you know what they say, once a glass hole, always a glass hole. I loved Google Glass back in the day. It was way ahead of its time. Now, they've been very vocal about bringing the latest version of their Android operating system to glasses and other wearable devices. They've been working on these smart glasses with the tech giant Samsung and the chip maker Qualcomm. With Android XR, cameras, microphones and speakers, these new specs work with your phone and let you use your apps without having to use it. It also links to Google's Gemini AI, which means it'll analyse what you see and hear through the day. Sounds great for the user, but a privacy nightmare for the rest of the world. They've demoed all the usual real-world examples of this as well. Messaging your friends, getting directions to where you're going, but perhaps most interestingly, real-time Google Translate. Essentially overlaying real-life subtitles on your conversations in foreign languages. We'll be off to space next.
Wearables really are the hardest market to crack, it seems, but it sounds like someone at least is coming up with a way to game the running wearable system. Can you tell me a little bit about Fake My Run?
Want to show your mates how fit you are? Well, now you can fake a 10k run with an app. In a move that single-handedly breaks many of the fitness trackers like Strava, it will generate a summary of your route and stats, completely fake. You can pick your own pace, time and distance from the sofa. It's a bit like Elon Musk paying people to play video games for him, and getting people to run for you is now so real, they're known as Strava mules. But until now, people have actually had to do the run with you with your device in their pocket. Announcing his app, the creator asked on X, "Am I going to get sued for this?" But then in an interview a day or so later, he said that around 50,000 people had already paid him $3.50 each to fake runs. Another user then took to X and posted, "You can't believe anything these days, not even people's runs. Amen."
I wish I'd had that when I was training for the marathon. Finally, Will, AI went somewhat rogue this week when it came to the Chicago Sun-Times summer reading list, didn't it?
We've long talked about the fact that AI can get stuff convincingly wrong on the Sunday 7, to the extent a researcher once called the chatbot a BSer on steroids. The industry calls these errors hallucinations, but based on what we see here, we should probably just call them lies. In this list of 15 books you must read this summer, only 5 of them were actually real. Yeah, the other 2/3 were just complete waffle. One of these unmissable reads was Tidewater Dreams, the first climate fiction novel from Chilean-American novelist Isabel Allende, as well as Percival Everett's The Rainmakers, set in the near-future American West where artificially induced rain has become a luxury commodity. The trouble is that both of these books, and 8 others, don't even exist. I have got so many questions about this. How can AI just make stuff like this up? And how asleep can the newsroom be to let something as egregious as this slip through? But anyway, I'm sorry I won't be here next week, because according to ChatGPT, I'm about to start my own off-Broadway show, where there's a will, there's a way. See you later.
Well, I'd love you even if you were an AI bot. Speak to you next week. Still to come on the Sunday 7 in association with Metro, good news on vaccines and a tool to help the deaf. The UK has been battling a dramatic rise in the level of sexually transmitted infections, with one in particular making headlines. That's gonorrhea, a particularly nasty STI which can cause problems like infertility or pelvic inflammation if not treated properly, and it can also be drug resistant. There's been a huge surge of cases in the UK, with 85,000 recorded in 2023. That's the highest level since 1918. And now the NHS is rolling out a new vaccine to help tackle the issue. It's similar to what was originally designed to tackle meningitis, but the two diseases have some similar characteristics. Dr. Hamish Mohammed is a consultant epidemiologist specialising in the prevention of sexually transmitted infections at the UK's Health Security Agency, and he spoke to the BBC this week about the vaccine.
This new vaccination programme presents a viable opportunity to reduce the rising rates of gonorrhea in the UK. The gonorrhea vaccination programme will use a meningococcal B vaccine that's been shown to be safe and effective at reducing the risk of invasive meningococcal disease. More recently, there's been evidence that the vaccine also provides some protection against gonorrhea. This is why the UK's gonorrhea vaccination programme will use a meningococcal B vaccine called 4C-Men-B.
It's been shown to be about 40% effective in reducing the risk of infection, and the UK is the first country in the world to introduce it for this purpose. Richard Angell from the Terence Higgins Trust has been campaigning for this vaccine rollout and says it's going to make a real difference to those who are most at risk of contracting gonorrhea.
34,000 wouldn't have done had they had the vaccine in advance. That is a great step forward on an STI that has only seen rising rates in recent years. We have this remarkable tool to bring those numbers down and the numbers affected tumbling.
Technology continues to offer new opportunities by making aspects of modern life accessible to those who might otherwise struggle. A new startup in Kenya has developed a system powered by our old friend AI to provide a sign language translator that can take text or speech and render it into Kenyan Sign Language. With almost 3 million Kenyans listed as hard of hearing and a shortage of sign language users in rural communities, this new system could be a game changer for Kenya's deaf. It'll also enable people to learn sign language themselves by using the translator and accompanying avatar. The founder of Signverse, Elly Savatia, explains how the TERP 360 app will have real-life impact.
Imagine a deaf girl going to a medical setting, perhaps has a consultation, reproductive health. Sensitive information is involved. The doctor is perhaps not culturally sensitive enough to serve them. They don't have access to a sign language interpreter. And, such kind of situations really necessitate that we do need to have tools. We do need to have access to, if not sign language interpretation.
Still to come on the Sunday 7 in association with Metro, we celebrate World Bee Day. That's a day to celebrate the bee, not the French bathroom accessory. And we catch up on South Wales's water voles.
Right after this.
Hey, it's Jamie East here, and today's episode of The Smart 7 is sponsored by Vodafone Business in partnership with Samsung. When you're running your own business, pretty much anywhere can be your office. The spare room, the back garden, or, even the local cafe. And with the power of Vodafone Business's reliable award-winning network, combined with the new Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, there's no limit to what you can do pretty much anywhere. For example, if you're working and caffeinating at the same time, the Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra will allow you to seamlessly complete actions across a whole range of apps to find relevant information and send it where it needs to go. It can even summarise YouTube videos for you and save it to Samsung text notes. That's the power of AI in your pocket. And AI continues to make headlines. This week sees the government set to roll out a new AI-powered tool called Consult, which experts estimate could save £20 million a year and free up 75,000 hours of civil service time. So, of course, they're calling it Humphrey. Huh? And getting back to Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra, to take advantage of all the features and change the way you do business, you'll need a Samsung account and a network connection. And if you're using the seamless action across apps, it's compatible with selected languages only. You'll also need a Google account login, and the availability of search functions may vary by country, language and device. To find out more, search Vodafone Business Samsung, and for network verification, go to vodafone.co.uk/network.
Welcome back.
The US has had self-driving taxis for a while now. The main company, Waymo, recently hit a milestone of 10 million journeys, all without a driver. The company is part of Google's parent company, Alphabet, and provides services in big US cities like LA and San Francisco, although it's yet to make a profit. The UK is scheduled to get driverless cars too, but probably not until the end of 2027, although there'll be some trials in advance of that date. A 2024 YouGov poll revealed that 37% of us would feel very unsafe travelling in a car without a driver, although Uber is apparently keen to roll out the technology and are currently working with 18 different companies offering automated driving vehicles. Paul Newman, not that one, is founder of autonomous vehicle software company Oxa, and he told Radio 4's Today Show that the technology is on the way and that it'll be safe but gradual.
You should be sure. We're going to change the way that people and goods move. This is for sure coming, but it's also not a Wednesday rollout where cars everywhere suddenly have no steering wheel. I think it's going to occur in the industrial environments first. Next time you're at an airport, look out the window and look how many vehicles there are doing work and thinking, it's going to start here. When you're next in a small bus and you're in a park and ride, think, this park and ride, this does the same route every day. That's where it's going to happen, and it's been my life work and my life's pleasure to build this, and I'm sure it's going to happen, and it's going to be built here in the UK.
Last Monday marked World Bee Day, which is intended to celebrate the critical role the humble insect plays in food security, nutrition and biodiversity. The United Nations Food and Agriculture Organization was one of those using the day to highlight the importance of the honeybee, who are responsible for over 35% of the pollination of food crops that goes on across the planet. But bees have been having a bit of a tough time, with populations declining, and up to 40% of species of bees and butterflies facing the risk of extinction. A new report from the University of Reading this week has highlighted 12 significant threats to the bee, which include artificial streetlights, microplastics, and even the war in Ukraine. Dr. Deepa Senapathi is co-author of the report, and she says we need to take action urgently on things like limiting antibiotic pollution and providing flower-rich habitats.
If the sort of decline in pollinator continues, we are going to see significant food insecurity because the quality and the quantity of yield will reduce, but also pollination plays a huge role in the nutritious value. So micronutrients in the food are dependent on having good pollination.
Junxia Song is a senior animal officer at the UN's Food and Agriculture Organisation and says her organisation's working hard to support beekeepers and educate the public as to what they can do to help protect the insect.
FAO has developed an assessment tool called the Progressive Management Pathway for Sustainable Beekeeping. We support evidence-based, practical, and affordable approaches for beekeepers by sharing and exchanging helpful information and knowledge with stakeholders. FAO has developed various resources, including technical guidelines such as good beekeeping practices and the responsible use of antimicrobials in beekeeping sector. In addition, we increase public awareness of safeguarding bee health during World Bee Day every year.
Now, If you were a childhood fan of The Wind in the Willows, you may not have realised that the much-loved character Ratty wasn't a rat at all. In fact, Ratty was a water vole. They're certainly similar in appearance to rats, but the water vole has a chestnut coat with small ears and a blunt nose, and they're in serious danger of extinction. The species is under pressure from human expansion, the American mink, and a variety of other factors, and the Wildlife Trust say the creatures, which are most common in South Wales, are in real danger. One of the difficulties is tracking the notoriously shy creature, but scientists at the Welsh Initiative for Nature Conservation have come up with an intriguing way to keep track of where water voles are at in the wild. Rob Parry is chief exec of INCC, and he explained to the BBC that the plan involves feeding the animals food which is covered in edible glitter and then, well, basically looking for sparkly poos. Enjoy your Sunday breakfast.
We're doing this because we've got a big project in the uplands of Wales, which are really difficult to get around. So we're going to be testing this year, feeding the water voles this edible glitter, and then once that works, we can see how many water voles we've got just by counting the glittered poops in the wild. So water voles are our fastest declining mammal ever. So if we don't do anything, we're probably going to lose them in Wales. That's how bad the situation is. And the last refuge really for water voles is our upland habitat. We need to find out as much as we possibly can now so we can better protect them in future.
This has been the Sunday 7. Wherever you're listening, do us a favour and hit the follow button. We'll be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. with the regular Smart 7. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Written, produced and published by Daft Doris.
Hi guys, it's Hannah from Giggly Squad. With summer around the corner, I wanted to tell you guys how I'm staying comfy and stylish. Lululemon is my secret weapon. There are plenty of copycats out there, but nothing compares to the Lululemon fabrics and fit. I've literally had my pair of Lululemon leggings since college. And I'm out of college. I know I don't look it, but I am. The quality is next level. I especially love the Lululemon Align collection. It's made with this weightless, buttery soft Nulu fabric that feels like next to nothing. It's so soft. Whether you're in Align pants, shorts, a bra, tank, skirt, a dress, you get non-stop flexibility in every direction so you can stretch the summer limits. Align even wicks sweat. And as a sweaty girl, I love this. You know it's going to be my best friend when I play tennis this summer. Shop the Align collection online at lululemon.com or your nearest Lululemon store.